Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 16th of January, 2024. Come up the Tuesday rant with yours truly, Crusty Canuck. Topics of tonight's show is the state of the Canadian military, politics and other fallacies, the German farmers, and the WEF, and why they cannot be trusted. Listener and viewer discretion is advised because I do like to swear, smoke cigarettes, and make a lot of funny faces and just make fun of these morons calling the shots for our dirty lives. All that and more coming up. Stick around. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Tuesday Rant with yours truly. I am Crusty Canuck, your charming host. And how is everyone doing the past 24 hours since my last episode? I hope all is well. If you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this content all over your social media platforms. Help us Canucks get our algorithm out there so other people can see and enjoy and get their own point of view and do what they want to do and just be entertained and informed. I want to say thank you out there to all of the people that gave me some comments last night when I debuted my other episode. I would have done it sooner, but it was too goddamn cold on Saturday, global boiling and everything. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? But still, I'm glad you all came out and give me some thumbs up, some likes, and some comments, but please keep them up too. If you see my show on Rumble, please, I would like to get some more of my Rumbler subscribers out there to throw me some comments, give me some thumbs up, and share my content all over the place too. So like the title card said, ladies and gentlemen, the Tuesday Rant, the state of our military, German farmers, WEF, and why they cannot be trusted. So let's talk about the state of our military, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about that because me being a veteran, spending 20 years in the Army, you've heard me ramble on about that before numerous times. I've got some videos queued up here that I will gladly put on for you all. In regards to, I still get a chuckle out of this, how they placed tampons in the male washrooms, starting with military bases and all other federal offices across the country. Now, you've heard me rant and rave about how I personally don't care if you identify as this or identify as that. I'm sorry. I cannot get my head around this for some reason. If you're an individual and you are transitioning into male, okay, I don't care how you cut your hair. I don't care how much testosterone you take. I don't care what you inject in your body. I don't care if you grow chest hair, facial hair, get your breasts removed and get a ding dong added to you and all that too. It still is not going to make you a male of the species. Okay. And don't tell me there's a third member of the human race or there's a third gender. I don't buy it and I'm not going to buy it. Okay. I remember my basic biology in high school where we're taught how humans copulate. Okay. And regardless of how woke our generals and our leaders are becoming, and regardless of how many times the so-called experts come and brief the military on skin color and colonialism, you're starting to drive people nuts with this bullshit. Okay. Not only are you insulting serving members, you have just insulted every other served member, every veteran, and especially the forefathers that committed the ultimate sacrifice in World War I, World War II, Korea, and other individuals that volunteered their time and efforts with other militaries. I have a soft spot for the Canadians that served with the Americans during the Vietnam War. I have a soft spot for the Americans that served with Canada during the First and Second World Wars, respectively. So I have a soft spot for veterans in North America that thought they were doing something right and thought they were doing something noble, and how bad a lot of those vets were treated during all wars. So when you look at the whole tampon issue, put in male washrooms because there might be somebody who identifies as or somebody who's transitioning and you have to accommodate that. I find it insulting, not because that one person exists. Everyone has the right to exist. I find insulting because you go out of your fucking way to accommodate a handful of people when our military in this country is going without proper budgetary efforts without being considered in the NATO alliance, and how Ottawa doesn't really give a fuck about the troops. Okay? Now, I've dealt with some people on the Twitter feed and other social media platforms talking about how they've committed the sacrifice back in the 80s. I never served in the 80s. I was still a young kid. But I served in the late 90s up until 2018. And I've saw my share of garbage, and I've known men that have seen their share of garbage, and the politics and the social impacts that's gone with it. Okay? I worked for men that were in the airborne back in the 90s, and they have some interesting stories on how their chain of command dealt with some real issues, and also the bureaucracy that dealt with those issues too. So that's a different can of worms. But now we have the powers that be that want to tell you and me that, okay, we're being very, very inclusive. We're not going to fund you properly. We're not going to look after military housing properly. We're not going to make sure you got the proper kit and equipment. We're going to put you in harm's way with the bare minimum of respect. We're going to put you in danger, train you for warfare without the proper equipment. And to topple all off, we're going to make sure that there's a handful of people that might identify as this or might identify as that, and make sure they're accommodated every time they go to a washroom. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to disenfranchise anybody who has a genuine concern or who's actually going through gender dysphoria, but I'm sick and tired of this eggshell crap when it comes to individuals that identify. Do they really identify? Do they really have a problem with that? Or are they joining the bandwagon and hopping onto the nouveau trend of I'm this and I'm that? Okay. There's 3 sexualities out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's heterosexuality, like yours truly and my wife. There's homosexuality, like some of the friends I have outside of the podcast and people I know personally. And there's bisexuality. What's this non-binary stuff? What's this pansexual stuff? Just a new fancy way of saying you like it both ways? Didn't Burger King used to have that kind of logo? Anyway, I'm digressing here. Anyway, I got a video here from Faulkner from True North. I'll leave a link to the full video, but this is a blurb he did on the Twitter feed there, on the X feed. And you decide, ladies and gentlemen. And I really, really hope you consider that there's a hell of a lot more at stake here than just someone's personal feelings if they need to reach for a female hygiene product. But I'll just cue this up for you. And honestly, like, enough is enough. Like, it's just getting really, really ridiculous on how a lot of this is working. Right? So I'll cue this up for you, ladies and gentlemen. And then, like I said, you decide. You decide which is the right tone.
Last month, news broke that all Canadian military bases will be providing tampons inside men's washrooms. Because, of course, that's exactly what the military needed to try and boost morale. Maybe the reason that no men were signing up for the military was because they were concerned they wouldn't be able to get tampons inside men's washrooms. Now that that's been taken care of, I'm sure we will see recruiting numbers jump back up again. Not all soldiers inside the Canadian Armed Forces enjoy being humiliated day after day. And according to the Department of National Defense, as reported by True North, there have been reports of vandalism occurring on tampon dispensers inside men's washrooms. A Department of National Defense spokesperson told True North in an email, unfortunately, vandalism has already been observed on some dispensing units installed in Department of National Defense occupied buildings. The Defense Department said removing tampon dispensers and disposal units from men's washrooms undermines the department's efforts to create an inclusive environment for cisgender women, gender diverse individuals, transgender men, and intersex individuals. And of course, the military is cracking down on those who are removing these tampon dispensers. It won't be tolerated, according to them. This type of behavior will not be tolerated and goes against defense team efforts to create a truly inclusive and psychologically safe work culture. All members of the defense team must feel recognized, respected, and valued, which will allow them to thrive in their environment.
Yeah, that was Harrison Faulkner with True North. You can find them. I'll leave the whole video of his show Ratioed there for you, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to that story. What gets me is that when I was in, we included everybody. You're there in uniform, whether you're on my left side or my right side, you're included. Okay. So this whole gender ideology, this whole alphabet mentality, it's got to stop, because I'll tell you this right now. The enemy is not going to care if you have purple hair, if you have fake breasts or real breasts. They're not going to care if you have a fake penis or a real penis. They're going to look at you and say, oh, enemy, and take a shot at you. That's what they care about. And we're really losing sight on that too, because I deal with individuals on a daily basis on the Twitter feed, even out in public still, where people are surprised. My God, we have a military. Yes, we do. Sorry, it's not big and brash like our friends to the south or like our forefathers in Britain has. Okay. It's tiny, and it's getting smaller by the day because of this BS. It's getting smaller, and it's getting the lack of respect because of leaders in Ottawa and because of bureaucrats that say they care about Canadian defense and they don't. They'll just go with whatever the current thing is. The current thing should be proper procurement, looking after the welfare of all soldiers, not just a handful who might identify, all soldiers, and have the robust ability to get the job done, regardless of where you're supposed to be. Now, my libertarian side's coming out here too. I don't believe in getting involved in foreign wars and being more of a sidekick. I don't. I also believe, though, if we're going to have a military, we better bloody well look after it and respect it, because history has proven there's numerous times the government has called on the troops to help with forest fires. Excuse me. I think I'm getting a cold. And to help with other disasters, such as the ice storm in 1998, Red River floods in 1997. Not to mention this stinky little War Measures Act that Pierre Elliott Trudeau put together, where he called on the troops. See, there's a politician that never respected our military to begin with. Neither does his son. Neither does the federal Liberals. They don't respect our military. So that's why they put all these woke things together to make you feel special and warm and tingling inside. And then when someone comes to our shores with the intent of hurting us, what are you going to do? You're going to throw tampons at them? Shake your finger and tell them to stop that?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. Topic: state of our Canadian military, the German farmers, the WEF, and why they cannot be trusted. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And one more time, and a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe, especially my YouTubers and my Rumblers out there. Make sure you give me a good like. Click the notification bell on your page if it's still there. Let yourself be notified, and when new content comes your way too. I've been playing some email tag with the fine people at Google. Yes, trying to get down to the bottom of why when I'm watching some videos, the screen gets all shaky. Why is that? Interesting, eh? Is the censorship coming to life as we speak? Who knows? But make a long story short, just, keep subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Help us Canucks out there, get our words out too, so you, my wonderful audience, can make a sound decision on your own terms. Now, there's also some issues going on in Germany with the farmers there. Last year, we had the issues with the Dutch farmers staying up against Dutch government, saying no more of this crap. Basically, I'll summarize it. Now, I'll leave a link in my description for you to follow too, ladies and gentlemen. But the German farmers basically drove their tractors and everything they could into the capital of Berlin and told the government they had enough, which is good. Which is good, because it doesn't matter what country you're from. You got to rely on the agriculture to bring food to your table. Okay. And believe it or not, there are people here in North America, in the Western Hemisphere. Some of them do believe that meat comes from the grocery stores. And they really have no idea what goes into raising that meat to put on your table, to put on your plate with your baked potato and asparagus. Oh, and they have no idea what it takes to make that burger nice and juicy. Oh, yeah. Or that free-range chicken that goes into your roasting pot. Have yourself some roasted chicken. Good. It's got to be raised by people that want to raise it. Okay? And when the government steps in and throws a tax at you for using fuel to produce said food, and the government throws another tax at you for drying the grain that you either sell to market to make bread or to feed your livestock. No wonder they get pissed off. And that's what they're doing here in Canada. The Germans are taking it a step further. They're driving their tractors, driving their shit spreaders, their manure spreaders to the capital, saying we've had enough. That's great. Well done. Well done. You know, because I work in the agriculture industry myself. I know what it takes to feed the animals, to keep things on the go, you know, to keep the business running, to make sure that the ranchers, their cattle's looked after, to make sure cattle gets to market. And then you out there, if you eat meat, okay, you out there can sit and have a nice steak or a nice roast or some chops or anything. I mean, chops if you raise pigs, but you know what I mean. And actually have a good meal. Because a lot of people put a lot of effort into that. Now, I got a video here from a, excuse me, on my Instagram, from a Clayton Morris. He's an American journalist, but he's in Germany. He was in Germany talking about the farmers. And you can see the contrast there too, ladies and gentlemen, because when we had the protesters here, the trucker convoy, all these people coming out of the woodwork saying they're far right. Oh, they're fascist. They're this, they're that. Oh my God, they're so terrible. How dare they stand up for themselves? Well, the German farmers are taking it upon themselves to stand up for what's right. It's that simple. And there's nothing wrong with us doing that too, ladies and gentlemen. Never has been. So I'll just cue this up for you and you decide, folks. Once again, I want you to decide. I want you to make an informed and calculated decision on what you should do and what you should think. I'm not going to tell you what to think, but you like good food in your table, then you should respect the farmers in your area. It's that simple, you know?
And painting these protesters as far-right MAGA extremists. Do you have farmers in your family?
No.
No. Why are you here today?
For demo?
For them? For them? Yeah. A lot of the Western media has tried to portray these protesters as far-right extremists. Behind me here, you can see the Associated Press is doing interviews here. The German media also doing interviews. Of course, in the coverage over the past few days, they've been painting these folks as extremists, far-right extremists, similar to Trump supporters. And of course, the protesters and farmers I've spoken to have said that is ridiculous. We're not far-right. We are realists. We realize that our taxes have gone up. Our prices for fuel have gone up. We can't run our business. We are not far-right extremists.
It happens the same thing like always. They say, okay, the protesters are right-wing. Politicians, what they said the last days about the farmers is possible. My English is not that good, but they were very mean to them. They said bad things about the farmers. They treat them like animals when they are right-wing.
Right, they're right-wing extremists. That's
how right-wing extremists, that's a problem.
Hello. The media here in Germany has been painting these protesters as far-right MAGA extremists. Do you have farmers in your family?
No.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I know I went repeated some of it again too, but yeah, that's the thing. They're calling them the MAGA rightists. Now up here, they're calling Canadians Maple MAGA or MAGA Maple. Okay, because every time Polyev speaks about something, there's always the lefties that are sitting there cringing their fake pearls and their fake identities and their fake personalities and calling the conservatives in this country the MAGA Canadians or MAGA Maple. And then now they're doing it in Europe too. Okay, so you can actually see an international objective here that's going around. You stand up and protest against something the government's doing. Oh my God, you must be far right. No, people want their livelihoods and people want to live their lives by their means and by their rules. It's that fucking simple. Why is that so hard? Right? How much more money do you need from a guy like me or a lady like my wife or my friends in Europe or my friends in Britain or my friends in the United States? How much more money do you want? How many more rules are you going to try to change in the name of saving the planet? Are you really trying to save the planet? I don't really think you are. Because you're not pillars of the earth. You're not stewards of the earth. You're stewards of the corporatism that you're trying to promote. And corporatism and government combined, what have you got? Wait for it. You got fascism.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crusty Canuck Tuesday Rant with yours truly. Topics: state of our Canadian military, the German farmers, the WEF, and why they cannot be trusted. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for returning, and thank you for sticking around this long in this video, too. I usually try to keep it 30-odd minutes, but it's getting there, 20-minute mark, so I've got more to cover. Anyway, but thank you very much. You're all wonderful out there. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much, especially the loyal fan base I have accumulated the past year, too. So please give yourself another round of applause. You guys are great. 2024 is going to be a fantastic year. Why? Because I can feel it in my bones. And regardless of the strife and the chaos we have been going through, especially since the better part of 2018, we will overcome this. So never mind the racial bullshit. Never mind the projected misogynist crap. Okay, live and let live. It's that simple. Proper liberalism, living and let living. It meant something about 30 years ago. Why the sudden shift now? Why? Why is that? Why can't we go to a record store anymore? Because, well, computers. We can still buy CDs and albums from certain artists, right? Look at the shift that's happened the past little while when it comes to artists, when it comes to music, when it comes to movies. Everything has to have a message. Everything's got to be about wokeism. Bullshit. Individual tastes shall prevail. Individualism shall prevail again. Basic liberty, ladies and gentlemen. And to those commies I've engaged in the past couple of days, jog on, wankers. I got a life to live, and you get in my way, guess what? You're going to get mowed down. Anyhow, enough of that. The other part of the show, the WEF and why they can't be trusted. Now, there's an individual that works with Alibaba out of China. He was a gold medalist rower for the Canadian rowing team back in Los Angeles, 1984. And here's a clip that Andrew Lawton from the True North News Company put together for the Davos conference. He's in Switzerland right now covering the World Economic Forum as we speak because of the whole, conspiracies and how these rich bozos want to tell us what to do. And there's a guy by the name of J. Michael Evans. He is like the president of Alibaba sales division, whatever. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to follow. But really listen to what this guy has to say about an application he was trying to put together about 2 years ago. Now, this segment is from today's show of the Andrew Lawton Show, but he put this segment together to basically talk and to promote the term why we cannot trust the WEF, basically. So I'll cue this up for you, ladies and gentlemen, and then once again, you decide and think for yourselves and what is good for the people that surround you. I'll just cue this up. And it's interesting what he says. I think I've used this clip before, but just listen to what he has to say about this application. Right?
It jumped out to me from one of the panels that ended up, I think it was like my most viewed tweet ever. It got like millions. I can't remember the exact number, but millions of views for this little clip of a guy named J. Michael Evans, who is the president of Alibaba Group, which is a big Chinese merchandising, sales, distribution network, whatever you want to call it. He's Canadian, but he has decided that he wants to go and legitimize this Chinese, in many ways, state-affiliated enterprise. Now, he was talking about one innovation, which if you hear it just on its own merits will sound creepy, but all the more so if you think of it in the context of China and its social credit system.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
few little caveats there, and I don't want to do the semantics thing, and I'm going to play this clip again for you in a few moments after another one, because he uses words developing yet. Stay tuned. He's talking about this. He's very excited about this. An individual carbon footprint tracker. Now, the most charitable defense that people would give to that as well.
See, that's the thing. Not developed yet, like you said, right? So there's plans to get this developed. There's plans in the works. What other plans are going behind closed doors? Now, the WEF has been known the past little while to be talking about how they're not trusted. When you have ideas like that come to a panel, and you have to have some payolas to get to these conferences to sit and discuss about the whole bloody thing when it comes to wealth transfer and when it comes to making people a certain way. You get ideas like that from this guy. And I don't give a fuck if he's a Canadian or not. I don't care where he's from. I don't care what he does. To even remotely promote something like that, right? Obviously, he's thinking dollar signs. He's thinking innovation for his company. But what are the results going to be out of those innovations and results? Oh, what are you eating? Where are you traveling? What are you doing? Who are you sleeping with? What are you talking about? Who are you associated with? Right? And how many governments are going to coincide with those plans and those alternatives? Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen to you or me if we decide to actually get a program like that? Well, firstly, I'm not going to download anything like that. We've all seen the results of the ArriveCan app, right? How that worked out. $54 million to put together a application to track your movements. How'd that work out for the Canadian consumer? How'd that work out for people that actually tried to travel during the lockdowns? How many of those individuals were locked up in a hotel room with garbage food, garbage security, poor hygiene for 2 weeks in the name of safety because they didn't have any information on their app, or the app wasn't working, or they used the app and they're still tracked or tried to be tracked? And yet it cost the Canadian taxpayer $54 million to put together this half-assed app to promote what? Safety. Is this J. Michael Evans guy? Is he promoting safety? Right? Because all the people that support these World Economic Forums and all these so-called lefties really, really dig big government now, eh? Did you ever notice that? Right? See, government should be working for the people. We're not working for the government. Right? To all these kids out there that think taxes and taxes and taxes are going to save the planet, guess again. When you have men like that, Mr. J. Michael Evans, I don't give a fuck what his Olympic record is. I'm thinking about what this guy is doing now. So, yeah, he might have said this 2 years ago. But what other plans are in the works when it comes to these applications? Track your movement, what you eat, what you breathe, where you're going, what you're doing. Wow, can you say nanny state? For what? For what purpose? Control. They want to control your money, control what you eat, control what you do, who you sleep with, and what you think about. Wow. Did Orwell strike a nerve with some of these people? Well, the book 1984 should have scared you, not encouraged you.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday Rant with your host, Crusty Canuck, episode 256. Wow, 256 episodes in this podcast. My God. Topics today were the state of our Canadian military, the German farmers, WEF, and why they cannot be trusted. I'm your host, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. If you're liking what you see, please click like and subscribe. And thank you to everyone who has been watching this far in the video, too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe, and thank you, you wonderful people. Another round of applause for sticking around on this show. Right. And then I'll just reiterate there, ladies and gentlemen. How can you trust these individuals when it comes to our sanctity and our welfare? Why is it a crime in this country to love your nation? Why is it a crime for Americans to love their country? Why is it terrible for Brits to love their nation? Why is it terrible for the French to love France? Why is it terrible for the Germans to love Germany? Because everybody wants to be herded. Individuals such as Mr. Alibaba, such as Klaus Schwab and his bugs, jawohl, that want to herd people. No, we're not cattle. We're not chattel. We're not fucking cannon fodder. We're functioning adults that want to live our lives and be left the hell alone. There's nothing wrong with loving your country, regardless of the history. Regardless of the history. That's what it is. It's history. That doesn't mean I was raised in a household where I believe in this and I believe in that because some college professor is coming up with these more woke ideas for people to be ashamed of who they are. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Love who you are. Be you. Doesn't matter if you're married to a man or a woman or married to both. Love who you are. Be good to people. It's that simple. Don't let those clowns and those cronies tell us otherwise. Do what you can for your families and loved ones. Do what you can with your jobs. Save what you can, regardless of the inflationary status or not. Stand up for what's right. Personal freedom, individual liberty. It's in our charter, Canada. Liberty of person. Why can't we defend that? Why is it so passé? Why do you kids under the age of 35, and I would said that under the age of 35, because there's a lot of people under those ages that really just don't grasp that there's a world out there and the bubble of Canada is no more. It's that simple. How else do I explain it without blowing a gasket? No one's saying you have to agree with me. No one's saying you have to agree with that guy. No one's saying you have to agree with that girl over there. But if you enjoy your lifestyle and you enjoy going out, grabbing a coffee or going to get a movie or hanging out with your loved one or pursuing that girl from afar, pursuing that guy from afar, then do it. But think about it. You live in a country where that's possible. Where you're not arranged to do something. Where you're not told where to sit. Where you're told where to go to the bathroom or told what to eat. You don't need that. What you need is your own freedom to do so. To think for yourself. And it's about bloody time we start thinking for ourselves again. It's that simple. Choice is yours. But don't come crying to us cranky old vets if someone's knocking on your door and then asking about your whereabouts. Something to think about, eh? Anyhow, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 16th of January, 2024. Weather's getting better. It's not as cold here in Alberta as it was the past week. However, don't get cocky. Keep your trugs plugged in. Keep your shit together and keep yourself warm because it's still winter. So don't get too cocky yet. Do what you can. Help each other in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. I will not have an episode this Saturday because I'll be working, but I will have another Tuesday rant next Tuesday. That's a promise. Once again, thank you out there to those individuals that have subscribed. Give me a thumbs up and commented. So keep giving me a thumbs up. Keep giving me a comment. And do not forget to look at your notification bell to see if new content is coming your way. And plus to double check to see if you're still subscribed or not too. Let's fight this algorithm with pure dedication, honesty, and integrity. Because it takes wonderful people like you to make that happen. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, do what you can, help you out in these trying times. And always remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.